Hey guys, so glad you're with me today. I'm gonna try to keep this message short and sweet, but not too short and sweet because I got a few things that I think that you'll really find valuable and that will help you. See, I want to make content for people like me, people who have had similar issues as I've had, because believe me, I've had a lot of issues in this life so far. And I'm confident that those issues are finally starting to clear up and go away. And I'm going to be healed. I am healing from all the things that have plagued me over the years. So as a lot of you know, I was molested when I was a very young child for years, like on end almost every day. And I've also had chronic pain, like fibromyalgia type pain and headaches ever since I was about that same age, right? Connection. And, you know, I basically lived in pain my whole life. Some days were much worse than others, but I've pretty much always lived in a low level of pain all these years. I'll take my sunglasses so you can see my face. And as you can imagine, that's a huge hindrance to life. You know, I got by when I was a teenager, but it seemed to be that as I got older, the pain got worse. Now, some people might attribute that to just aging, right? But I never bought it. And I never bought that something was wrong with me, like inherently. And I never bought that, you know, I was afflicted in some way. I thought maybe it was possibly a injury from vaccines later when I started researching, but I was like, no. Like, I refuse to believe that I'm going to be stuck with this pain for the rest of my life. Like, and I refuse to believe that it's a vaccine injury, because why me? You know, plenty of people had vaccines when they were children, but their fibromyalgia didn't develop until they were an adult sometimes, you know, and they went through a traumatic event. Like, I know someone who went through a very traumatic event where her husband was abusive and abusive to her and her children. And that whole deal, after that, she started to have fibromyalgia pain. So I put the pieces together and I realized, you know what? There's just something, like, I haven't healed from this trauma, even though I've been trying to, you know, something's causing this. And so the first part of this year, all throughout January and until about Valentine's Day, so basically the first 6 weeks of the year, I was super productive. Like, I was determined to make 2018 the best year ever so far, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to get some things that have been bothering me about my house in order, which I did, and I feel really good about it. Like, I reorganized my kitchen because it was driving me crazy. I reorganized my bedroom, added some new pieces, got rid of some old things that I felt weren't serving me anymore, and now I have better organization systems, and I feel great about it. But right around Valentine's Day, I started to feel so burned out, and my pain got so immense. For like a week, I was barely unable to get out of bed, right? So I spent the first week after Valentine's Day just recovering. I was like, okay, whatever's going on here is clearly here for a reason. And it was like God telling me, you need to slow down, because if you don't address whatever is causing this pain, it's going to get worse and worse and worse as more traumatic events pile up. And while you have done some work in changing your mindset and working on your emotions, you're not done yet. And until you really take a break right now and evaluate these things, it's going to keep getting worse. I mean, think about it. You know, once you have one trauma, you're kind of set up to have more traumas until you realize the truth about yourself, and until you deal with those things that the trauma left you with, because trauma attracts more trauma. It's true. I used to think when I was a kid that nothing else bad could possibly happen to me, because look what I've already been through already, right? You know, parents getting a divorce, having this sexual abuse, being bullied severely every day in elementary school, not just by the girls in my class, but also the teachers. Yeah, insane. And when I went to a different school when I was 12, it was great, and I was in a much better environment, and I felt better about myself, but I still had so many things I hadn't dealt with, and I didn't even know that I didn't deal with them. I didn't know that the way that I was processing things and reacting wasn't normal. I mean, how could I, right? Like, I was so young, like, how would I know the difference? And so more bad things happened, like right around the time I was 19-ish. I lost my friends, and they were super, super important to me, and it was a huge crushing blow for a long time, because it was just another rejection. Like, I'm never good enough for anyone. I wasn't good enough to just be left alone. You know, I was abused. I wasn't good enough to be left alone by the kids in school. Wasn't allowed to be myself. And having to carry around that lack of acceptance is really hard. And I've always been a nonconformist my whole life. And it's not that I necessarily care what strangers think. I really don't. But it still ingrains in you that sense that something's wrong with you if everybody is treating you this way. And it just kind of built, like, it just built new events built on that foundation. And like when I was a young adult and I entered the workforce, like in different places, I was mistreated by my coworkers, even though I was trying to do a good job and I was trying to be nice and, you know, do the best I could. There were still incidences that just were uncalled for. And I was like, why is this happening to me? And even when I was like, I got my first full-time job, during the training, apparently I asked too many questions, which is what I was told when I was a kid in class, that I asked too many questions and that I'm disruptive and I'm a distraction. And I still didn't understand. They literally told me that I had to write a letter of how I wasn't going to do that anymore in order to keep the job. Have you ever heard of such a thing? I was asking questions so that I could understand. That's how my brain works. I want to have all the information before I proceed because I want to be great at my job, and I can't be great at my job if I don't quite understand the process of everything. So that was what was going on, but for whatever reason it was deemed disruptive. So I don't know. I guess other people don't operate this way, but I certainly didn't mean to be disruptive. But the point is, all these traumas were building on top of each other, and all throughout the years my pain was getting worse and worse and worse. So I come to tell you this because if you have noticed, I haven't posted on Instagram or really anywhere since Valentine's Day. And that's because, like I told you, I got into this massive pain that week, and then the week after, this past week, I just had so much peace. Once I just let myself be in pain and tell myself, you know what, it's okay. The world is not going to stop because you can't run your business right now. The world's not going to stop because you can't, be productive around your home. The only thing you need to focus on right now is taking care of Valor and soaking up his preciousness and his joy and relaxing. And my idea of relaxing, by the way, is watching a lot of different random YouTube videos that help me learn. Learning is like my spiritual gift, I guess you'd call it. Learning is everything to me. I could spend all day, every day learning all about everything, and I would just be so happy, right? So my idea of rest was watching a bunch of random YouTube videos on different subjects I wanted to learn about, reading books on all sorts of things about emotional stuff, mental stuff, business stuff, just allowing myself to rest and relax. And also, I decided to start reading the Bible again, and I want to read it all the way through in less than a year this time because I feel like I'm also on like a spiritual, I don't want to call it a existential crisis. That's a terrible, I don't like crisis as a terrible word because it's not a crisis at all. It's like an awakening. I feel like I'm on an existential spiritual journey right now and really listening to what God is trying to share with me and listening to where he wants to lead me and what he wants to do. And I was so frustrated at some points because I was like, I don't like not feeling like I have a clear direction. There's something telling me to not move forward in my business until I feel peace about it. And I want to expand on that and what I'm about to start doing in another video because this is kind of long already, but it's like a part 1 and part 2. But I just want to give you some encouragement that if you've lived with any kind of ailment for a specific period of time, I promise you that you can heal it. It came from nothing. It manifested from nothing in your body, and it can go away, and it can become nothing again. God gave us the power to heal ourselves. He also gave us people that are trained more than we are to help us along the way. Like sometimes it may be a medical doctor, and sometimes it may be a holistic practitioner. And a lot of the times, the thing is, even if you seek out those treatments and actually do them, if you're not also doing the mental and emotional and spiritual work to realize, why is this like coming about in my body? The same thing is going to appear again and again. Kind of like if you get, a cancer cut out of your body and it manifests again, it reappears. It's not necessarily that the doctor didn't cut it all out. It's because you never fixed the root problem of the issue that was making your body turn this mental and emotional issue into a physical issue. I truly believe that that's the thing. So I just want to encourage you, if you've got anything like that, it's okay to rest and it's okay to take a break. The world's not going to stop. The world's not going to fall apart. And you must have faith that that's true. You must have faith that your business, your life, your relationships are going to be intact. And in fact, better than ever, if you take care of yourself first. Because if you don't fill your own well, you're not going to have much to give other people, right? It's so true. I'm looking forward to telling you more in part 2 about what I kind of realized about my business and what I have coming. All right, bye guys. Oh, and you know what? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear about what you have to say about this. And maybe you can share something with me that you've learned about this subject. And yeah, I'd love to talk to you. Okay, bye.